W, you can easily calculate phi, you can easily calculate psi, you can easily calculate u, you can easily calculate v, even you can calculate ur and u theta in the case of rotational flows like vortex flow or any other source flow. You can calculate ur and u theta also, which is radial and tangential velocities. Now I am going to make a table where we will see these things. I will just write this thing and we will not delete it. So here it will be called uniform flow. Here it will be called source and sink. Okay, source and sink are same actually. Here it will be called vortex flow. Okay. After vortex we can these are the basically kind of elementary flows. These are the elementary flows. Now after this we can say half Rankine oval, full Rankine, source, sink doublet, and many others. So remember this thing: 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 flows are known as elementary flow. Elementary means basic flow. Okay, elementary flow. Now it's very easy to learn the formulas. Very easy. Just learn the formula and get the answer. I will show you how to get the answer. So uniform flow is very simple. Here the W is known as capital U Z. Capital U Z. Now W you know, Z you know. Z is what? Z is x plus iy. Okay. So first thing that we have to calculate is W equal to phi plus I psi. So this uz, ux plus iy. So ux plus I times uy equal to phi plus I psi. So phi will be equal to ux and psi will be equal to uy. Simple. Now this is uniform flow. Uniform flow means the flow is going in only x direction, that is u. Okay, so this has, you know very well that this will have u equal to, sorry, not u equal to not 0, this is u equal to u. Okay, here u will be equal to capital U and v will be equal to 0. Let's see whether this is true or not. So dw by dz will be equal to u minus iv. Okay, we know this. dw by dz will be known as u minus iv. So w is what? W is uz. If you differentiate this with respect to z, it will be only u. So only u will be equal to u minus iv. Now the real part is u equal to u and the imaginary part is 0, so v equal to 0. So this is the case of how the equations of motion are getting to us. So next there are two things: thrust required and power required. Okay, let's see these two things. One is called thrust required. Now we will consider that same flight. Okay, everywhere we will consider this is level and unaccelerated flight. Okay, so if it is, we can say thrust required for level unaccelerated flight. So we know already that, now I'm not going that much into derivation, but a little bit derivation is allowed. So T equal to D, and we know the formula of drag, it is Q infinity S CD. Okay, and lift equal to weight, we know, which is lift equal to Q infinity S CL. Okay, so thrust upon weight, if you do thrust upon weight, it will be called as CD by CL. So thrust is thrust required, it will be W upon CL by CD. It can be written W upon L by D. So this is the formula for thrust required. Okay. Now we all know that CD equal to CD naught plus CDI which is CD naught plus CL square upon pi EAR. When you will solve this, here we will get an information which is called minimum thrust required condition. Minimum thrust required condition. So when you will solve this thing, then we will get a condition which is known as CD naught equal to CDI. We will get the result CD naught equal to CDI. So when CD naught equal to CDI, then minimum thrust required is there. Okay, and in this case, CL by CD will be maximum. You can watch it here also. If this is maximum, then this is minimum. Okay, because weight is constant. Okay, we also consider this as weight is constant, but technically the weight is not constant. Okay, because when you are going into the aircraft, the fuel is decreasing, so weight is not constant, but we consider that weight is constant. Okay, so this is the case of minimum thrust required or thrust required for unaccelerated flight, level unaccelerated flight. Now what about power required? Okay, so power required for level unaccelerated flight is, so power we know already, power equal to force into velocity. We have seen this before also. So force is what? Thrust is a force. So thrust required into velocity is technically power required. Power required equal to thrust required into velocity. Okay, so don't go that far. It's very simple. Now power required will thrust required. We already know the formula. It is W upon CL by CD into V infinity. Okay. Now what is the formula for V infinity? You know that lift equal to weight equal to half rho V infinity square, rho infinity V infinity square S CL. So from here V infinity square will be here written as 2W upon rho infinity S CL. So V infinity will be equal to square root of 2W upon rho infinity S CL. So when you will put the formula this V infinity here, the formula that finally we will get will be power required equal to square root of 2W cube CD square upon rho infinity S CL cube. So technically it will be proportional to 1 upon CL to the power 3 by 2 by CD. So here it was proportional to 1 upon, thrust required is proportional to 1 upon CL by CD. Here it is proportional to 1 upon CL to the power 3 by 2 by CD. So for minimum power required, what we have? We have maximum CL to the power 3 by 2 by CD. Maximum value of CL to the power 3 by 2 by CD will give minimum power required. Also, we will get CD naught equal to 1 by 3 CDI. Here we will get CD naught equal to 1 by 3 CDI. Okay. So this will be the case for minimum power required, minimum thrust required. Okay. Now what is the condition of required? Like, understand this thing. It's not about only formula and everything, but just imagine the concept like you are taking off. So when you are taking off, you have to increase your velocity. When your velocity you will have to decrease, you will need more fuel, more thrust. Okay. So that in that case thrust required is very high. So when thrust required is very high, you can see that CL by CD is not maximum. Okay. But when it will reach the cruise almost, then it will be called as the CL by CD is maximum and thrust required is minimum. Also one more thing, that this formula is only valid for cruise. Okay, so don't ever think more of compressor also determine the front area of engine. Okay, like I told you already that this is the, suppose this is the engine. Okay, so this is the first frontal area. Okay, you see frontal area. So whatever air is there, some air goes inside, and the rest of the air, what happens? The rest of air goes on the top. Okay, and the top. So the outside air already have some pressure, which is called ambient pressure. So these ambient pressure, they will stick to ambient pressurized air. Okay, ambient pressurized air stick to the surface and create pressure drag. Create pressure drag. Fine. So fine. So what will happen? That you can you can reduce the pressure drag, you can optimize the pressure drag by maintaining the area of a compressor, how much frontal area will be there, and how which compressor will be there. Okay. Now we are know what is compressor. Okay, we already know that what is compressor, why compressor. So let's see the difficulties. What are the difficulties that a compressor can face? Now compressor is a very complex system. Okay, before seeing difficulties, let's see the definitions of both the compressors. Okay. So two types of compressor I told you, axial and this centrifugal. Okay. So without going into the inside, let's first see axial compressor. So axial compressor has various acceleration and deceleration, alternative acceleration and deceleration, alternative acceleration and deceleration, in order to develop the pressure difference, in order to develop pressure difference. Okay. How many of you have already seen a compressor, like by your eyes or something like that? Like, yes, this is the compressor, this is the axial compressor. Okay. So if you have seen the compressor, it will be something like this. You see, these are the blades. Okay. So when blades are straight, they are called stator. After that, one more circle will be there, so the blade will have a particular airfoil kind of shape. This will be rotor. Okay. So stator, rotor, these kind of things will be there. Okay. Now, when a stator is there, you see the gases decelerate. Okay. And when rotor will be there, then gases accelerate. Fine. So pressure rise is achieved in many stages. In many stages.